Hello there, welcome back to Legends on the Series X. I am Durka. Today's video is brought to you by a minor freakout at the end of last week that I had while playing this game. Safe to say at the time, I was not having a good time and got pretty annoyed with my losing lot after some really, truly awful teams that I got matched with. Happens to everyone, but today I'm here to say, don't worry, be happy. Sometimes we need a message of positivity to remind us all that, well, whatever happens is going to happen, and you can choose to either be upset, annoyed, pissed off by it, or to not be. In the background is not that game that was awful, but rather one where everything went swimmingly, and we had a great match. Really quickly, it's Atago, Scott, Kuznetsov, and a double rudder. Team-based games can be really frustrating sometimes because you're heavily reliant on teammates and their ability to do their part for your team. That is World of Warships in a nutshell. Sure, certain ships and classes have more of an ability to carry and do well than others. Weimar versus York. But overall, this is not a game you can always backpack your team to victory. You're just going to have those games where your destroyer doesn't spot for you, your friendly battleship rushes in and dies immediately, and your carrier focuses on a grosser curve first instead of a Kleber that's ripping your team to shreds, so on and so forth. You can do everything you can to try to bring the game back, but sometimes it's just not meant to be. When I got pissy and posted a message last Friday after some really awful games like I mentioned, Metajerk, a fellow community contributor, had some wise words that I can pass on to you guys. Paraphrased, of course, in an old Chinese proverb, there were two men who fell into the river. One of them drowned struggling to swim to safety, and the other let the water carry him to where it wanted him to go. The point being, in something especially as trivial as a video game, maybe it's best to just focus on having fun rather than being focused on winning at all costs. This is something that I've brought up a few times on this channel, and truly I think of myself as one of the more laid-back, relaxed gamers and CCs who is here for the escapism of the game, for the entertainment, and for the fun. I just needed to remind myself of that and thought it would be a good idea to remind you all as well. Now, I don't think this is synonymous with giving up, sucking at the game, and losing more. Rather, just a mental state to try and enjoy yourself and have fun more. After all, that's why we're all here, right? With that mindset, I think you'll find more enjoyment out of the game, any other game, and even life. Alright, so enough preaching. Let's check out this gameplay. The Mogami, if you were unaware, absolutely shreds. It does better at long range and isn't the best carry boat. It gets punished by battleships pretty darn bad. Turret traverse is pretty slow, and so is the reload, so I wouldn't try brawling or getting in terribly close until you have to. Also, the torpedo angles are pretty bad. They're designed to fire more behind the boat in kiting situations. So here we are on Greece. There are some great islands and opportunities to get into flanking positions and rain fire on the enemies. In fact, this map is all about flanking. There is no sailing straight through the middle. There's literally an island there. It's all about moving out to the sides, controlling a flank, and winning that way. The poor Cleveland was a perfect example. I just used Mogami's speed, moved out to the side, and he couldn't even hide behind the island there. I think spreadsheet says he had fun. Their team made this pretty easy on me. No one came out here to contest the flank or to try to keep me from getting around this side, except one lonely Akatsuki who did a good job of taking this cap and trying to keep me out of here. Honestly, the Hipper, if he would have rushed me, there's not much I could have done. He could have flushed me right out of here, but instead he doesn't. He kind of stays back, runs a little farther back. It really should go without saying at this point, if you play the game enough, if you control a flank, you're going to have a really good chance of just straight up winning the match. Very rarely will the team that employs the black hole strategy, like the Reds in this one, win. Well, since no one is moving up here to bother me, I'm just going to sit here and farm damage. We have all the caps and the reds bottled up in the middle, so we'll just kind of hang out here and farm. The ship setup we briefly talked about. Atago, of course, for the commander because of her Arsonist perk. It's really, really good and adds 8% fire chance and 10% to the shell damage. So these cruiser shells hit like a truck and have a 25% chance to start fires. The 13-second reload isn't great, and neither is the 25-second turret traverse, but again, really high alpha. There are tons of different inspirations you could use if you're playing this line. You could use Azurlane Baltimore for the rudder, Vian Dispersion, or go all in on the guns like I did for this game with Scott Kuznetsov. Like mentioned, this ship does not take battleship rounds well at all. The Citadel is massive, and the ship is armored just enough to set battleship fuses. If you're interested in this style of cruiser, you might have also looked into the Atago for 750,000 green XP. It's also a really good ship, but I would point out that Mogami has a faster reload by about 3 seconds, and that's something I didn't know when I bought the Atago for green XP. 13 seconds Mogami, 16 seconds on Atago with the same exact setup. So it's kind of like the Hipper versus the Prince Eugen debate, where the Hipper has a faster base gun reload, so some would say that it's better. I think the Akatsuki here finally realizing that his team's not helping him out, he just felt like he had to do something. Wasn't maybe the right play, but at least he was trying, to make a play and be aggressive when his team wasn't. So he comes around the corner here. We only hit him with 5 shells there, but that was still half of his health. And with our speed and maneuverability, we're going to easily get away with these torpedoes. Props to this guy for getting the cap, playing the flank, and trying to make something happen. I know it's frustrating, and like I talked about before, I hope he, was seeing the fun parts of the game and not being too frustrated with his team, kind of like I was. Overall, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And when you're that Akatsuki guy playing your heart out and your team isn't helping support you, not helping to push the flank or with the cap, or flush out the Mogami, yada, 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 just remember it's all about fun and not winning at all costs. And with that, guys, the rest of this game is pretty moot. It's in the bag. A shout out one more time to Metajerk. If you haven't checked his channel out, go check it out. But I'll leave a link in the description below. Has very high quality, creative, funny content, and I know you would like it. All right, I will see you in the next video.